Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Welcome to the first annual Poverty and Homelessness Conference, also known as the PHC. I'm so grateful to stand before you today and welcome you to this 2014 conference. This is the first time that this conference is occurring, so you are all part of something very historical. So thank you for being here. I love the energy in this room this morning. Last fall, I shared my vision for creating the PHC with my department chair, who many of you know, Dr. Chris Caldwell. He's the former, for those of you who don't know him, he was the former deputy superintendent of Volusia County Schools. And my son actually has nicknamed Dr. Caldwell Dr. Coolwell. So that's his nickname, yeah. So he recommended that I talk to the wonderful Dr. Karen Beatty. And so I ended up meeting with her, and both of them gave me a green light right away. And so before I knew it, the PHC had wings. And so here we are. And I really want to introduce the members of the PHC leadership team. Miss Kathy Brown and Miss Pam Woods, would you please stand? And also, would the members of the PHC Planning Committee please stand? Several of you kind of sorted around the room. It is because of these incredible individuals, these outstanding educational leaders, that we are able to be here today and celebrate this occasion and make a difference in our community. I can tell you over the last year, we have met numerous times, long hour meetings, right? Sometimes early in the morning, without coffee even, and we survived. So we really put a lot of planning into this day. And so it really, it's amazing to just see all of it come together, right? And so, I told myself I'm not going to get emotional, and then and luckily my son has given me a napkin. But it's an emotional thing when you work so hard and to see something come together. And I thank all of you for being here today. So I've had PHC on the brain lately, so much so while over the weekend I was writing recommendation letters for two of our educational leader graduate students, and I signed the letters Rajni Shankar-Brown, PHC. It really has been just on the brain, and so I'm really excited, and I'm happy that there are so many committed individuals who care and want to make a difference in the lives of students. I want to thank our generous donors, right? Without their financial support, we would not have food, right? Now, are you guys enjoying the food this morning? Yeah, all right. We wouldn't have our tote bags, our resource packets, our awesome book from our keynote speaker, Dr. Paul Gorski. So I want to thank them, right? And we have Glenn Ritchie Properties, LLC, the Hosseini Family Foundation, the Hollis Institute for Educational Reform. Dr. Hines is here. She leads that effort, and we do a lot of great work in the community with that. Stetson University Cross-Cultural Center, see? Is Jelani in here? No, she'd be hollering right now. And the awesome Stetson University Center for Community Engagement. So it is because of their financial support, again, that we're able to have these items today with you. So, and speaking of items, I just wanted to point out for all of you who are part of Volusia County Schools, in your packet, you would see a green sheet. So this is kind of your packet for the day, that there's different columns, reflection questions that you can kind of fill out and keep. And so if you want to keep this, close to your side as you go to breakout sessions, as you participate in the conference, right? So kind of fill it out, keep your notes on this. And Dr. Karen Beatty during lunch is going to explain a little further, give you some more instructions with this. But I just wanted to make sure you guys kind of have that out, right? Especially as our keynote speaks today, to take some reflective notes and think about what's going on. So I hope that you are ready for an exciting day of learning, reflection, growth, inspiration, and action. In addition to gaining a deeper understanding of poverty and homelessness and learning strategies to help us positively impact the lives of students and help us move forward in our communities. I hope this day also provides space and time to consider the intersectionality of social justice issues. You'll notice today morning, right, all of the meals that we have. You may have noticed little symbols in the cards, but everything that we're serving today is going to be vegetarian or vegan, right? This was a really conscious decision. In the middle of your tables, you guys will see kind of a table tent that talks about sustainable products. Everything that we use today is going to be sustainable and will go right back into the earth, right? And so I want you to take time to think about how, yeah, that's great, right? I want you to think about how, kind of the circle, right? That sometimes we have good intentions and we go forth with passion in one area, but we don't think about how all of these other areas connect. And when we talk about social justice, it's vital that we start to think about intersectionality. And so I hope today gives you that time and space. I want to share some distressing numbers with you today. So we live in one of the most vibrant and richest nations on the earth, and over 3.5 million people in the United States are homeless. Families with children make up the fastest growing segment of the homeless population. Over 1 in 4 of our children are living in poverty. Think about that for a second. 1 in 4 of our children are living in poverty. Over 4 in 10 of our babies, our middle schoolers, our teenagers are constrained by the intense challenges of deep poverty. Over 16.1 million youth live below the poverty line in the United States. And these numbers that I'm telling you and sharing with you this morning, if anything, they're underestimated, right? Because of the way we do these counts. If you're born in Florida, and if you're a child living in poverty, research demonstrates that you're actually more apt to stay in the poverty cycle. Census figures released in September 2013 confirm that record high numbers of Americans are living in poverty, and these numbers are unfortunately expected to continue to increase. In 2012, 46.5 million people were living in poverty in the United States. This is the largest number in the 54 years the census has measured poverty. Racial and ethnic minorities, children and families headed by single women are particularly vulnerable to poverty. So again, we cannot separate in this discussion about poverty. We can't separate race and ethnicity and gender, right? And this goes back to the idea of intersectionality, thinking about all of these different overlaps. African American and Hispanic individuals are more likely than white individuals to be poor and to live in deep poverty. Children represent more than 1/3 of the people living in deep poverty. And again, poverty in our country is also a women's issue. Female-headed families are more likely to be poor. So I ask you to keep considering these intersectionalities, right, of justice. So I'm going to share with you some numbers pertaining to Florida and the county in which we're all sitting in today, right? Volusia County, one of the largest counties in Florida. In Volusia County, over 60% of school-aged children qualify for free and reduced lunch. For the last 3 years, over 2,200 school-aged children in Volusia County were living in a homeless situation. Right, and Ms. Pam Woods, the homeless liaison for Volusia County, would be the first to tell you, right, this number of 2,200, again, it's underestimated. We have so many cases of students who we don't even know about, right, who don't come forward. And so, again, we have a lot of work to do. The state report card on homelessness has ranked Florida 43 out of a ranking of 1 to 50, and 50 is the worst. Right? And we are 43. 1 in 29 children in the state of Florida does not know where they're going to get their next meal. We're in the Sunshine State, right? We can do better. We can do better, and we must do better. Poverty used to be a reflection of scarcity. Now it is a problem of identification, targeting, and distribution. And that is a problem that can be solved. In 2005, Nelson Mandela told 20,000 people in Trafalgar Square, "Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice, the protection of a human right, the right to dignity and a decent life. While poverty persists, there is no freedom." The learning and commitment presented here today, it's more than about you and me, right? It's about the we, the collective. And that's why you'll notice that this year's theme, right? What is the theme? Can you guys say it out loud? Together, beacons of hope and inspiration. Okay, I want to take a second and I want us to say it out loud together. Together, beacons of hope and inspiration. I truly believe that, right? That when a community comes together and works together with common goals in mind, we can make a difference, right? A difference that really is needed in our children's lives. I want to actually call up my son, Valen, to share a few words this morning. He's 10 years old, and so he's going to come up. It's funny because when I told him, he had a poem that he wanted to share at the conference, but he said, "Mom, I can't come. I'll miss school, and there's going to be a bunch of principals and teachers, and then they'll know I'm playing hooky." And I said, "It's a teacher's work day. You're safe." So he's going to come on up here.
Good morning. I'm Valen Brown. I am 10 years old. My little sister is 4 years old. I spent most of my life volunteering in homeless shelters and soup kitchens with my mom. I have met countless children in homeless situations, children just like me not having a safe place to sleep, children just like my sister without food. It makes me sad. I wrote a poem over the weekend that I would like to share with you. My poem is titled, I Dream. I dream of a day when every child has a home to keep. I dream of a day when every child has food and a safe place to sleep. I dream of a day when everyone cares and shares. We have so much in our nation. People go on wasteful vacations while children are sleeping on streets and boxes too. We must help. Yes, me and you. I dream of a day when everyone cares and shares. I dream of the day when the world homelessness is a distant memory, like dinosaurs and horse buggy cars. Let's all work together, because homeless children deserve better.
Thank you, Valen. I too dream of that day. And I also believe that working together, we can make Valen's dream a reality. So I have a 3-minute video clip that I want to share, but I'm going to share it later in the day because our audio is still not working, it seems. So I'm going to save that for you guys. But it's going to highlight and share with you some of our young adolescents' kind of narratives and voices, right? And what we'll find is that within homelessness, it does not discriminate, right? Anybody and everybody can be touched by this. And we are all touched by this in our communities, even though often we want to keep it kind of distant, right? We want to think that, well, we're safe. It doesn't affect us. But I can tell you with the families that I work with, I've seen every type of situation, right? Families who had houses and things and lost everything in Hurricane Katrina, right? Families who've been part of the generational struggle of poverty, who've not been able to escape that, not because of laziness or these other myths that we have, right? But because, we live, unfortunately, kind of in a rigged society, right? I like to use the analogy with my own students of a Monopoly game where half of the pieces are already given out and the money is given out, right? And so these issues are really real, and we see them in the narrative of students' lives. So it's with pleasure that I now want to introduce our dedicated Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Beth Paul. I can even see you sitting there. We're so lucky. She supports, she is so committed to social justice, and we're really lucky for that.
Just trying to get a hug.
Yep.
Good morning. How am I supposed to follow that, Valen? Whew. Maybe I need to have you come up here and read it again. He says no. Welcome. Wow, what an incredible group of people. You give me more hope than I've had in a long time. Just standing up here and looking at all of you here gathered together to make a difference in the world, and not just a short-term difference, but a long-term difference. I have really been appreciative of the leadership of Dr. Shankar-Brown, as well as the entire teacher education program. I'm really proud of our teacher education program here at Stetson. One of the things that we've done together over the last few years is to try to define what our lasting legacy will be as an education program. Yes, our lasting legacy is going to be sending out into the world caring, passionate, expert teachers. I bet some of you are caring, passionate, expert Stetson alumni teachers to make a transformative difference in the world. But how are we going to make an even more important legacy for this program out in the world? And it is this focus on, say it in a number of different ways, but it is this focus on the intersection of education and social justice. It is this focus on children who already, start out their lives with a lot of points against them. And how are we as educators going to make sure that we are educating and transforming all of our students' lives for moving out into a world in which there will be justice, in which there will be fairness, in which there will be openness to all who go out into that world as leaders and as citizens. So it's really a point of pride, I think, for us to have a teacher education program that is that takes the courage to focus on that kind of pernicious issue. I think in most teacher education programs, they're just generic. We think of all children as having an equal playing field, and all children do not have an equal playing field. So how are we going to have our eyes wide open about that? And how are we going to go into that and really try to make a difference on behalf of all children? Now, it's not just a quick fix. We have a lot going on in our society that is really beautiful, and it is about providing direct service in the here and now. And I salute that. I think that is a very, very important commitment. But at Stetson, the short term isn't enough. At Stetson, we really push ourselves to think about making change that lasts and really thinking about the long term and making sure that the world is a different place when we're done with it. That's our goal. It's not just a short-term fix. It is how do we really engage in this to address the longer-term improvement of our society. And you are here to do that. And I really am very, very appreciative of all of you for taking your day to engage with us in thinking about how we move that agenda forward, all of us together. It takes a village to do that. That's absolutely the truth. But I really am thrilled that you're here. It truly does give me a deep sense of hope for how we are looking forward. So thank you for spending your day with us. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes to just express my enthusiasm for what you're doing. And I will look forward to hearing all about it. Thank you.